Hello again, this is Stephen Smith, the Viola Guy. Today we're learning about the anatomy of the viola. Let's start at the top and work our way down. This is the head of the viola. It's called the scroll. Now traditionally scrolls are carved in this spiral shape, but some viola scrolls are carved in the shape of a human or even an animal head, which honestly seems kind of creepy. Now, these black knobs are the pegs around which the tops of the strings are wrapped. Fun fact, before they got their nickname, pegs used to be called Margarets. This is the peg box where the Margarets hang out. Now right here at the bottom of the peg box is a slightly raised piece of wood called the nut. Now the nut is really groovy. And by that I mean it's got grooves cut in it where the strings lay. Now this long black piece here is the fingerboard. It's sort of like a diving board, but for your fingers. Now the fingerboard rests on this long curved piece of wood. It's called the neck. As you can see, a lot of viola pieces are named for body parts. And speaking of body parts, now we come to the body of the viola. The front of the viola is called the top. So you'd think that this side would be called the bottom, right? Wrong. This is called the back. So it's not front and back, and it's not top and bottom. It's top and back. I really think viola makers need to make up their minds about this. Now cut into the top are these openings called the F-holes that amplify the sound of the viola. Although when you look at them, this one really looks more like a Z than an F. Anyway, the sides of the viola are called the bouts. These are the upper bouts. We have here the lower bouts. And in the middle are called the C bouts. And that's about it. Now this doohickey here is called the bridge. Although I guess you could call it the doohickey if you really want to. The bridge holds up the strings and transfers their vibration to the top of the viola. You know when people say, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it? This isn't that bridge. Speaking of strings, on the viola, here are their names from lowest to highest. C, G, D, and A. Now if you play violin, your strings are G, D, A, and E. And you can remember that by thinking, good dogs always eat. But for viola players, it's cats give dogs advice. We saw earlier that the top ends of the strings are wrapped around the pegs. Well, the bottom ends of the strings are attached to these fine tuners for tuning the strings. And as we all know, fine tuners are much better than so-so tuners. The fine tuners are set into this tail piece, this black piece here, although I don't know what piece of the tail it is. The tail piece is held in place by the tail gut. I know, more body parts. The tail gut is wrapped around the end button, and I've tried pushing the end button several times. It doesn't seem to do anything except hold the tail gut. Now down here we have the chin rest, which is where you rest your chin. Duh. The chin rest helps the player hold up the viola. Now there are a couple of important parts of the viola that are really out of sight because you can't see them. They're on the inside. The sound post, not to be confused with the Twitter post, is a small round piece of wood that transfers vibration from the top of the viola to the back. The sound post also supports the top to counter the pressure from the strings. Also on the inside of the viola, glued to the underside of the top, is the bass bar, which amplifies the lower notes of the viola. The bass bar is also where bass players get their drinks. Okay, since the bow is an indispensable part of the viola, I'll just quickly go over the parts of the bow with you. We have the tip, the bow stick, the hair, and yes, it is horsehair. This is the winding, the thumb grip. This large black part here is called the frog. Yes, it's really called the frog, and no, I don't know why it's called the frog, but it is. And here we have the bow screw, which we use to tighten the bow hair. So there you have it. All the parts of the viola and the bow to boot. This is the Viola guy saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.